So welcome, Cherie. Thank you so much for coming along to this I Am Woman Hour this morning. We're going to have people probably jumping in a little later because we're bang on 11 o'clock. And so I'm really looking forward to hearing how we can all develop multiple sources of income and how you did it and some things you should be thinking about. So everyone's going to introduce themselves that are online for you to get a feel of who they are and for them to get a feel for the topic by listening to one another as well. So the first person I'm going to introduce is Beth. So Beth, we call her Beth the Pound. So over to you, Beth.
Hi, Cherie. I'm a financial planner, but I did transition from working in publishing. And I actually, for a while, was doing both jobs. So I eased my way into this job, but I kept the guaranteed income from my old job. So I've sort of got an idea of the sort of thing you're talking about.
Yeah. Amazing.
Lovely. Thank you. And we'll go to Lynn now. Lynn the Will.
Good morning, Cherie. I'm a private client lawyer, so I mainly specialise in doing wills and trusts and lasting powers of attorney. I've never done any other type of work, to be fair, so I wouldn't have a clue what other sources of income I could possibly get from being a lawyer.
Okay.
Lovely. And now Miriam. Miriam, would you like to introduce yourself?
Good morning, Cherie. Nice to meet you.
Hello, everyone.
So I am an artist. I love multiple sources of income because I do that already because I run art workshops. I also do commissions. I then sell my paintings as well, but then I also have merchandise that has my artwork on it. And I've got a website and Etsy, and then people also just come to me because now they're getting to know me. So I don't know if I'm using it completely efficiently, but I enjoy the variety of it, and it seems to work at the moment for me. So I'm really, really excited to hear what you're going to say because, be good.
Great. So you're on your way there, definitely.
That's great. Over to you, Kerry. Sorry, I'm looking at Karen. I'm saying Kerry. Over to you. I do apologise. Over to you, Karen.
You're not supposed to confuse me. I'm confused enough. I've got a variety of different sources of income. We have some property we let out. I have royalties from books. I have a membership site that provides income on a monthly basis. I do e-learning courses. I have workshops I deliver. So I have pretty much the whole gambit of different sources. Yeah.
Great.
Lovely. And over to you, Ellen. What multiple sources of income do you have?
Morning, all. I am an independent consultant with Arbon. They're a network marketing company. I'm also a reflexologist. I also see clients one-to-one with nutrition. I also support women through menopause, incorporating life coaching, nutrition, and reflexology. And I also do talks to large companies like I've done Microsoft, Lloyds Bank. I do in local alternative cafes as well. And now I'm incorporating my nutrition, life coach, and reflexology to support women through menopause. So I've been juggling a lot of plates. Sometimes it's great.
Get a lot when it's only one of you.
Sometimes it's too much, but it's okay. Keeps me stimulated.
Yeah, definitely.
And we're going to go to our Web Wonder Woman then. Over to you, Web Wonder Woman. What are your multiple sources of income?
Well, I create websites for people. I do website support. I train people one-to-one, or in groups, or like over Zoom, or going into people's workplace and training them there. I have online courses that I sell, and I've got a membership as well, a monthly membership. So,
amazing.
Lovely. And Sarah, our gardener.
Good morning, Cherie. So I'm Sarah. I run Gardenese Design Services on garden design, but I am working full time at the moment as a civil servant, but hopefully going part time in April so that I can spend some time on the business during the week. So as well as the service, the design service, I want to be offering some products on my website as well. So yeah, I'm moving to starting to juggle anyway from one full-time job to a number of different things.
Okay.
So
Lovely.
Great.
And I know Yvonne is here. I don't know if Yvonne wants to speak. I know she has multiple sources of income already. I know her camera is playing up. So Yvonne, I don't know if you can speak. Can you speak or
Yes, I can speak. My camera just keeps flashing, it's doing my head in. So yes, I have a few income streams. We have a property we get rental on. I get an income as a parenting coach. I'm a forever business owner and an Open University lecturer. So
Amazing.
I have a few different incomes.
Lovely.
Great.
So you can see the collective here now, Cherie. So I'm going to hand over to you for you to update our skills, as it were, and tell us your story, how you got into developing multiple sources of income. And then I'm sure we'll have lots of questions about what you've spoken about after you've spoken. And we usually pull things together about 11:45 for everyone to share their insights and how they're going to put it into practice. So I'm going to say over to you then, Cherie. Tell us your story.
Okay. Hi, I'm Cherie. I'm a mother of two boys, and I started my business. So I'm I'd say entrepreneur because of all the multiple streams of income that I have, but I generally started through my business She Can Closet, which is an online women's clothing store, which the core message is empowerment. So we have a little message: she can, she did, she conquered. And the reason for that is, how it started is I fled an abusive relationship in 2019 and I had to come back to Cardiff. And obviously with fleeing, I had to start all over again. A single mum, 36, no home, had to leave, a beautiful life that I already built, and I had to start again. So I got myself a little part-time job, and then the pandemic hit in 2020. So I lost that job. In the meantime, I was always thinking about building She Can Closet, but obviously part-time, on the sidelines. And it just got to that point where there's nothing to lose. You've got nothing to lose now. You've got no home. You've got no house. You might as well just go for it full time now. So I did, and I went for it full time, and I've since won 2 awards for best online retailer in the Fly Cymru Welsh Women in Business Awards. So my whole story and message is empowerment because of where it started. It's because I started from nothing, and it was through something traumatic. So my journey is empowering to women. So I use that a lot within the journey of my business, as well as empowering women through fashion. Not only that, I wanted to create a clothing line which was representing women over 30, because in the fashion world, it's aimed at very younger women. They're showing women that just look unrealistic, that we normal everyday women cannot relate to. So we may like something, but we're thinking, hold on, this girl looks nothing like me, so it's not for me. So I brought out something that was more inclusive, up to certain sizes, and also the styling of it is more of a classic style. So with that, I knew, I haven't got much money. I didn't have money at all. I didn't have any savings. I started it with £150. And whilst researching and building my business, I knew that I couldn't rely solely on that business, no matter how passionate, no matter how much I believed in it. I could not end up in a position where, if a pandemic hits again and I can't function my business to the best of its ability, and that's my only source of income, I'm going to need to be able to bring in other sources of income. So how I did that was building a brand within She Can, and then creating different services underneath that brand, which kind of align with, you know, the brand, the message, and who I am. So I'm going to go through about how I built those, and also just about how beneficial, first of all, MSIs are, multiple streams of income. So this could be like many of you, some of you have got a full-time job, you know, you don't need to be a business owner to have multiple streams of income. A lot of you have got your multiple streams of income via property, and it can come in so many different ways. It doesn't mean, you know, you have to have multiple jobs to create multiple streams of income. I know one said property, there could be investments. It could be creating services like myself under the umbrella of a brand you already have. It could be a plethora of things. It doesn't always mean more work. It's supposed to be less work, you know, supposed to give you more freedom and supposed to give you more opportunities. So if you've got multiple streams of income and it's becoming more stressful for you and you're finding things harder, you're not doing it right. Definitely have to take a step back and have a look at what you can deduct, what's not really working, because it's supposed to be working for you. You're supposed to be able to earn money while you sleep type thing, you know. So stressing and worrying about these other multiple streams of income is not what that's about. It is definitely not about that. It's supposed to be easy, not only that, enjoyable. If if there's something effort needed to be made, it needs to be enjoyable for you. So we've got benefits, which it achieves financial independence, and that can mean in so many ways, but the main one is debt. You can clear debt by getting these multiple streams of income in, which, you know, in this day and age, there is a lot of debt. And not only that, it's helping with living. The cost of living now has gone right up. So this is the perfect time to be starting thinking about how you're going to bring in money from different sources in different ways, because we're all struggling out here right now. It doesn't matter if you're a business owner, if you've got a good job, everyone's feeling it. So this is a perfect time to think and, you know, speak with other people who already got multiple streams of income and how you can do that, because you need to be able to spend less, you need to make more, you know, you need to make more money. So that's another one. And increasing wealth, you know, there's evidence that when you increase your wealth, it also helps with your health. And you've just got more opportunity again when you've got wealth. So they're the three main factors I would say multiple streams of income are beneficial to all of us right now. So I'll break down what my multiple streams of income are. I've got, I would say, 6 main multiple streams of income. And then I would say additional to that, there's it's like a little branch off, I would say, which, because I'm a radio presenter as well on Radio Cardiff, so work comes from that sector as well. So with She Can Closet, that's my first main stream of income, and that is online store, women's clothing. Also with that, then I've got personal styling, so I can come to your home and personal style. I'll do charts, bespoke charts for your skin tone, your body shape, really in-depth personal styling, and also commercial. So that means personal style and fashion styling on music videos, photo shoots, adverts, other brands, other clothing brands. So it can start from say £250 upwards, depending on what it entails, you know, and how long they're going to be wanting a stylist for. So that's my main secondary service when it comes to She Can Closet, because it ties in, it's the fashion, it makes sense. People come straight to me when it comes to the personal styling. Not only that, because I've built my business within 2 years, I have become award winning. I've been nominated for a few Business of the Mum Awards. So I've gained some knowledge in building a business, building MSIs, building brand awareness. So I can offer business support and advice. So that's another service that people come to me for. And also somebody mentioned guest speaking. They do guest speaking. I think it was Ellen. Was it Ellen? Yeah. Yeah, guest speaking. That's another one. So once you gain knowledge in your brand, your business, your sector, then you can use that knowledge to be able to help advise, support, and inspire others. And that can work with guest speaking for organizations, universities, colleges. I do a lot of that. You know, banks. It can work for anything really. You know, employers usually can have guest speakers. It can go very wide. It must start really intimate and go huge, you know, almost to the TED Talk, Cheryl, the TED Talk side of things. So then underneath that, we've got empowerment and style workshops, because my brand is heavily focused on empowerment and fashion, of course. What I can offer is workshops when it comes to women that have just come out of surgery, bereavements, prison, mental health issues, social issues. I can provide workshops, say for the NHS, for different organisations that can help groups of women. They're coming from. So they're really, really good. I love them because they differ. They really do differ. And then I've just added the middle of last year, garment printing, because obviously I'm a fashion brand and it was inevitable that I was going to be producing my own stuff instead of just buying wholesale, which I originally was. So now I'm printing my own and designing my own. So what I do is offer garment printing for small businesses, and I offer packages, which is hard to find as a small business with other companies. So I'll start from 10. You can order from 10, and we've got loads of different packages. So that's doing really well at the moment as well. So you've got the garment printing if you've just started a business and you want to get, you know, your logo on your t-shirt or on some mugs or some jumpers. That is a really good source of income, because even if the clothing line failed, people always want printing for their business, for birthdays, for anything. So that's a source of income that it will probably always stay. It doesn't matter if, you know, we go on lockdown or the internet goes off, you know, they could just pick up the phone and get their order in. So they're my 6 main forms of income. And then because I've got my own show, She's in the Mix, on Radio Cardiff. So I work with a lot of music artists, and I have got background in the industry. So I know a lot of people in the industry. I used to be a singer myself. So I am the person that people come to for casting, styling, creative directing their music videos. And it's gaining momentum, which you wouldn't think, you know, music videos is not, they'll be far and few between, but it's every time I'm getting booked for one, there's another one, because I'm either working with somebody that's having a music video in another few weeks and they want me. So that's becoming really good, and hosting of music events as well. So I've got a co-host, Casper, and we're available to host nightclub events, just any type of events really when it comes to the music industry. So that's like a little branch off. So that would make, say, 7, 8 streams of income. But that's a bit, it's not my main, it's not the main, whereas the multiple and main are within those 6. So I've got a lot going on there, so as you can see. So what I do is dedicate days to certain services where I'm going to be, you know, right, I'm focusing on the sales of this today. I'm focusing on building my personal styling guides today. Instead of just trying to mix it all in with one day. Obviously, the normal day goes ahead anyway, so I'm still in orders and everything from customers, but that is just, you know, the normal flow of the day. And then obviously when I get inquiries about business support and guest speaking, it's just about building it around when any opportunities, appointments that I have free at the time then. We've got, yeah, so we've got the guest speaking and the hosting. Guest speaking, like I say, you could still do that if a pandemic hits, because we can do it over Zoom. This is what we were all doing when the pandemic hit anyway. But that was my main concern as well when building the multiple streams of income. You know, obviously within the risk assessment, you've got to keep thinking about these things. So if a pandemic hit again, would I be able to successfully run my business? Yes. Okay. It's based online, heavily based online. But what if with that pandemic, there was electricity, internet issues, something like that? I need to still have something that I can keep bringing in money. So like I said, I've got the garment print in there, can still do guest speaking over online if we wanted to. Wouldn't be able to do face-to-face. And the hosting and events and things like that, that would stop. So this is why I've collected so many, because if a pandemic hit again, a lot of that would come to a halt. And I need to have a few still that would be able to bring in that money for me. Not only that, building wealth, like I said, increasing wealth. There's, I think it was 29% of millionaires have got 4 streams of income. And no, that's 29% have got 4 or more streams of income. And 45% of millionaires have got 3 or more. So it's just an incentive to know that basically a lot of millionaires out there are not relying on one product. They're not thinking, you know, I'm going to hit the jackpot with this one business I've got. They're relying on multiple streams of income, whether that's investments, property, other things other than, you know, doing the guest speaking. But Lynn, I think, was saying she wouldn't know how to build from being a lawyer. You could do workshops, you could teach the younger generation on how they would get into that type of work if they were interested in it. It's about using your knowledge and your skills to be able to create other services which may be helping other people. Usually they are. So you're a lawyer, you do, what was the type of work you did? Could you talk, or are we doing this after? Sorry.
Yeah, private client mainly, so wills, trusts, last and powers of attorney, changes of name, anything that doesn't involve the family court.
Okay, so yeah, it would be, you know, if I was interested in getting into that, and I'm just dipping my toe into it, it would be good if there was something that was not too expensive, that I could, maybe a course, online course or online advice from yourself, that I could, before I went fully into it, learning bits and bobs of the trade, what I should expect when studying, you know, what I should expect when you've got clients, little things like that. You could definitely do, and obviously use your years in the sector with that knowledge. You know, you've got the knowledge to do it, so just got to be confident in your own skills and what you can bring to the table as well, and that you can absolutely help people, because a lot of my multiple streams of income is about helping people, you know, in different ways, either in advice if you've just started out in business, and a lot of, I've got a passion for helping women who have just started out in business, because it wasn't that long ago that I just started out, and I was looking for, obviously, as much cheaper advice and things that I could get. I also offer free guide on how to build your business on a budget, which is on the website. So if anyone, you know, wanted any free advice, I got a little quick download guide there. But it's always thinking of ways to help people, but also with that sales funnel. So with that sales funnel, people are clicking onto the download, they're getting something for free, but also then when I'm offering something like paid business advice, they're more inclined to take that offer up because they've already received something valuable from myself.
So, Cherie, I wonder if we can go around the ladies who have joined us this morning to try and work out if they've got any questions. I suppose one of the things that I notice a lot is that especially women going in to deliver therapies, they get so caught up in getting trained on something. They almost get all the training they can, but then forget they've got to get customers and start selling services. And then all of a sudden they've spent all their money on training themselves, and they have no money left in the budget to take their product to market. And then it's almost like, you know, they skip one bill and they end up in a financial crisis, and the whole thing spirals because it's been about their personal education as opposed to building a business, building a brand, and building multiple sources of income. I wonder if you could talk a little bit about that while people are thinking about their own questions.
So what I did was heavily focus on marketing the brand and first, so people knew who I was, and then the customers would come. Sorry, I thought you were going to interject there. So I knew what she had.
Your sound quality is a bit off, Cherie. Cherie, your sound quality is a bit off. Can't hear you. We can't hear you. So I'm going to pose this question to Ellen then, because Ellen is a therapist. So I'd like to ask you that question, Ellen. How do we get around this? Everyone spending all their income on training themselves and not building a brand and building a customer base.
Yeah, I can relate to that because you feel you get an idea and you feel, oh, I need another qualification in that and another one in that. And before you know it, you spend thousands on educating yourself before getting out there and starting. You should trying to get back in.
So I...
Cherie, I'm going to mute you. Cherie, I'm going to mute you because the sound quality is just so bad. We can't hear you. So can you let me mute you so I can go around the members and get their input? So I'm having difficulty muting Cherie, so she must be repressing the button. There we go. Oh, perhaps she's going out and coming back in again. Right, okay. So Ellen, where's Ellen gone? Okay,
yeah.
Everyone's moved around the screen. So can you tell us a little bit more about, you know, what happened to you? Because I think you'd spent a lot of money, you put all your money into getting all your qualifications and everything. How did you then almost like click into, gosh, I got to build a brand here and get customers?
Yeah, I mean, I was in pre-COVID, I was just depending on my reflexology. So putting all my investments in that, and then COVID happened. Of course, that changed everything, where you think, all right, I need multiple streams of income. I can't depend on one thing. So yeah, I got into the nutrition side then, restarted, as I was a nutritionist anyway, but restarted that side of business. And then I did life coaching as well. And I think in alternative therapies, you are so interested in different elements of therapy that it's easy to say, oh, I'll do this and this and this. It is difficult to stop and think, right, I need to build. But it is also convenient to have different therapies that you can offer people, you know, but you got to know where to stop and start building instead of just getting more and more qualifications on top of each other.
Because you've got a direct marketing income stream, haven't you?
Yes.
And then you also you present on Welsh TV shows, yeah?
That's becoming a regular now, yes, yes.
And then, of course, you offer therapies. So you've got 3 sources of income. Do you have any more lurking about, and how do you manage them?
I do the talks. I've been doing talks as well. I've got a few lined up. I see people one-on-one with nutrition, or I lead groups of women through menopause nutrition as well. You know, it's surprising because it all sounds a lot, but I do get space in the day to go for walks and, you know, do nice things as well. It's not all work, 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 like you were saying. You're doing it because you want more time freedom, or else, you know, might as well get a job, really, if it's just consuming me. It's not consuming me. It's just being organized with feeding and nurturing the right business that needs it that day. And getting your marketing done well, I suppose. Yeah.
And you have 3 multiple sources of income then. And so are you saying the more sources you have, the more inclined you are to add another source without it feeling like a threat? Because I know you're already looking at online learning.
Yes. I suppose as an entrepreneur, I don't know if others relate, you often have ideas coming in. Oh, I can do that and I can do that. And you just want to grow. But yeah, you've got to hone yourself in sometimes and think, right, build this strong before you branch out. And, you know, because you don't want to scatter yourself too thinly either. I think you want to have things quite solid and long-lasting building.
I can remember a friend of mine who
yeah,
was opening a nursery, for example. Sorry to cut across you then, the sound again was wavering off. A friend of mine was setting up a nursery, and she was advised to have all the services right up front, to have all these multiple sources of income, because she was told if she didn't do it, a competitor would. So if she was opening a nursery, people would expect you to have all these other services, and you would almost like lose the opportunity to enter that market if you just didn't almost like nail your colors to the mast that you did do that. Yeah. So so I'd like you to think of the questions you might want to ask Cherie now. Hopefully the sound is sorted out. I'm going to Lorna first, because I could see Lorna scribbling a lot of notes, and of course she came in late. So I wanted to have the chance to introduce herself and talk about these multiple sources of income, and perhaps you might have a question for Cherie.
Well, good morning, everyone. Apologies again for being late this morning. I'm listening and enjoying listening, actually, because I can relate to Cherie's journey, having to start from scratch, you know, against adversity and build a brand. And I'm in the stage now. For those who don't know me, I'm a portrait photographer specializing in fashion, beauty, fine art, and fairies. And I'm establishing a brand at the moment, but it was interesting for me today because I'm already starting to look at these extra income streams that are not relying on me performing, as it were, physically. And so I completely get, Cherie, what you were saying about, you know, putting yourself in a position of strength. So if we ever hit another lockdown, et cetera, that there are other avenues. So this, I guess what I'm saying, this really resonates with me today. I also see the logical routes, Cherie, that you're going, because although it sounds as if you're doing so many different things, everything is connected, everything is logical. And that's something I'm going to really focus on from today as well. I just wonder, I'd like to ask you more about this discipline of how you manage your time, though. That's really, I'm so curious. And do you have this amazing diary system? Do you have alarms? Do you have Alexa shouting at you every hour or something? Because I would need that.
So over to you, Cherie. You're on mute. Cherie is on mute.
We lost Cherie.
We've lost Cherie. You're on mute, Cherie.
Oh,
there we go. So can you answer
lovely,
Cherie?
Right. So yeah, I've got ADHD, so it does become a lot for me, but I can't function really unless I've got so much going on. What I do is, because I usually work Saturdays, Sundays, because of the nature of my job, I'll try and take a Thursday off. And that day I try and dedicate, me and my sons can spend quality time together after uni and school. And I just really try and have like a pamper day and just not think about work at all. It's so important. And when I started the business, I just never had a day off. I never stopped thinking about work. I couldn't get ill. But, I have to do it now. And if work's calling, sorry, this is my only day off. But yeah, it's important to make sure you have a day off, because being a business owner, you think, well, I can work 7 days a week then to make sure everything's fine, But no, it's just, I think, making sure I get that time to rejuvenate. On a Monday, I'm just ready to go, and I'm just like, boom, 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 boom. I haven't got a great diary system. I use paper. This is my diary. I love the old school, pen and paper diary. Obviously, if I've got any online appointments, they're all on the Outlook, Microsoft there. But yeah, I think because I spent a year focusing on She Can Closet and branding that. So I didn't come out with all these services straight away. I made sure people knew who She Can Closet was, and that was functioning before I introduced the personal styling. And then I waited, and then I introduced another service. Well, I think with the business advice and personal styling, that came together. But anything else, then I've just, waited a period of time whilst I'm working on these new services, getting new clients, Obviously, you've got to promote that as well. So if I'm just bringing them out, none of them have got any time to be promoted and marketed and made aware to my audience that my services are there. So I feel like because it wasn't all in one go, I've been able to just slowly add them and go, right, so this is the time I can dedicate to this service. Instead of it just being, right, you've got 6 streams of income here that you need to sort straight away. So for the first year, it was dedicated to She Can Closet and marketing that and focusing on my audience and focusing on, just getting out there, really. I made sure that I got magazine interviews, news articles, interviews on podcasts, radio. I just did as much as I could. And then at the end of the year, I got my show. So then that also helped to get my my name around Cardiff and my business, because I had my own show then. So then, like I say, with that, the services from the radio come, which is a bit later, because I worked for a year on my radio show as well before I brought out those services. So it's about spending time instead of just, right, that's a good idea for me to bring out for my business. If it's not the right time, or you haven't got the time to do it, or you haven't secured that first mainstream of income. So yeah, I think that's why. And yeah, like I said, I need to have loads going on. Otherwise, I'm like, what's happening in my life?
I'm going to go to Lisa, our Wonder Woman website lady, because I think Lisa can really resonate with you on this.
Yeah.
So because you started off doing parties and then moved into websites, so tell us a little bit about how you've added your income streams together, and also how you're supporting other women get online income streams moving.
I think Cherie, I'm very similar to you. My brain, it needs to do everything at once. And everyone says that I've got ADHD and stuff like that, but unless I'm doing like 20 things at once, my brain just cannot focus on one thing.
Yeah.
So very similar to you in that respect. But yeah, my degree is in event management, but just due to the hours, because I was working in the Vale doing weddings and like with the Welsh rugby team and all stuff like that. But due to the hours, I was finishing work like 3 o'clock in the morning. I remember one day getting home late at 5, and my husband leaves for work at 5, so he had to wait for me to get home because you know, to go to work because the kids were here. Like, so I actually just fell into doing websites because I'd done it before. For myself, when I done personalized chocolates and stuff like that. So then I started doing the websites, and then people wanted support from that. So I did like hourly support, and the hourly support is the biggest part of my business now, which I've changed a bit around thanks to Cheryl. But then I thought, like you, I thought, right, well, now I can teach people how to do their own websites and all that type of stuff. So it kind of all went, you know, like you said, I've done something for so long, and then it all kind of naturally went. And then when I was teaching the courses live, I turned them into online courses. I've got a tech support membership. But it all kind of nearly 8 years now.
Wow.
So it all kind of just went into something else as I went along. So I didn't really think, all right, I'm going to do this, all this stuff. It kind of all went. But I have my paper diary by you. But I got it all online as well. But I need to take things off and do things. Otherwise my brain don't work.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. Does anyone have any questions? Anyone want to put their hand up for questions? I know for yourself, sorry, you're just starting up a business and perhaps need to think of, as you start up, what are the multiple income streams you can put in place at startup? So you can start, you know, thinking about how you would even design your services or design your website.
Yeah, I've got a whole list here, Cherie. I've got a whole list of things that I'm thinking of as you're going through things. And my friend Lorna is always very good at giving me ideas of what I could be doing. And sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't know, I can't contain everything in my head. And it's like, she reminded me on Friday, oh, have you thought any more about this? I said, I've completely forgotten about that idea, you know. So I constantly have to write down all the different things I can possibly do, and trying not to forget things. But yeah, I was interested, Lisa, but talking about parties. Was it Lisa that mentioned parties?
Yeah.
Have you done anything like that, Cherie?
What I do is host events, so they're like nightclub events.
Oh, much bigger parties.
Get the party started.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, get the party started.
Yeah, all right. Okay, yeah.
But that's something you could think about, garden parties. Why couldn't
That's what I'm thinking, yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, especially in Abergavenny, you know, they've got the grey pound, and people want to invest in perhaps having an event in their garden.
Do you know what plants you need to have for your soil type and your aspects? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I would just go in and organise the garden party for them. Yeah.
You're good at that sort of thing, Cheryl. We know that.
Yeah.
Right, we're coming up to that time, but I'd like to know, what have you learned, light bulbs of learning? How are you going to put this perhaps multiple source of income in place? And I come to you, Miriam, first. So do you have a question, or would you like to put the light bulb in?
Well, light bulb moment. I kind of realized that because I'm a self-taught artist and I haven't done the training and I haven't done the this and the that, I often get imposter syndrome, which I battle with. But I read a fantastic book by Oprah Winfrey called What Happened to You? And she talks about post-traumatic wisdom. And it is just so brilliant. And I feel, because of my journey and losing my mum and my grief, I have that experience. And when you were talking about guest speaking, I might not have a degree in psychology or anything like that, but I can relate to people, and I have that wisdom within me that I would also really like to share, and with the benefits of art and how it has helped to heal me. and also being out in nature. I mean, the whole talk has just been absolutely brilliant, but it just reminded me of the Oprah Winfrey book as well. But I'd also quite like to connect with you just to learn a bit more about your printing on garments and things like that, and the different packages that you have. So
absolutely, yeah.
So Cherie, if you could put your contact details in the chat box, perhaps people can catch up with you with regards to any services you've mentioned that they'd like to know more about. Well, as you were saying that, I can remember seeing a photograph, and it says, "When I look back on my life, I see pain, mistakes, and heartache. When I look in the mirror, I see strengths, learned lessons, and pride in myself." Yeah, so we forget it's not all about having degrees and qualifications. It's about the wisdom you've got now based on what you've been through. Yeah. So what will you be putting into action now then, Miriam?
I don't know. See if anyone wants to kind of collaborate, for me to do a talk, share my experiences, really. I mean, I did that briefly with the hospice that my mum was in, and have given them a painting as a thank you, and have been interviewed and shared my experiences. But I'd like to do it, and also actually with Carly, from just talking more openly to people. I'd like to do guest speaking about grief and lots of different things. I've got lots of ideas I'd like to do.
Because you do happy art and it's all around flowers, why don't you think of doing an event with Sarah? Because Sarah's a gardener. So why not go into people's gardens and do, a happy painting event? Happy painting.
I'd love to do something like that.
And you live local to one another, so
I know.
Yeah. Lovely.
Thank you.
Over to you, Beth. So what's your light bulb of learning? What might you do differently?
Not so much me, but more how I can help my clients, because a lot of them are self-employed, and every now and then they hit a barrier. It hasn't occurred to me to encourage them to actually add extra strings to their bow. I've got a lot who've got property income as well as their business, but I don't think you can have too many little tricks that you can roll out when you need to. So I think I need to think about some of my clients and how I should be encouraging them.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, because I can remember when I started up self-employed, I worked part-time, very much like Sarah. I was in the civil service. We're talking about 35 years ago. And I was in the civil service, and I went part-time until I could actually develop an equivalent part-time income. And then I went full-time. So when I see people starting up a business and they're just throwing themselves in, and this has got to provide them with a full-time income, I think, gosh, you're brave.
Yeah.
Gosh, you're brave. I would have multiple sources of income coming in, because all of us have all got bills to pay whilst we're building a business. So sometimes it's thinking, how can I develop a safety blanket via these other products and services, or even a part-time job somewhere, or even getting, as you were doing, Cherie, with the radio, having income coming in from other places and not just totally relying upon this very new startup business to provide everything for you. So so I'm going to come to Lynn. So Lynn, what have you learned, and what might you put into practice?
I think a couple of things today, because I honestly didn't think that with my profession that I would be able to have another source of income. But I'm liking the radio idea, so maybe doing some guest expert slots where people can, I don't know, pick my brains, send some questions in, and I can answer them, and even possibly a course, maybe how to write your own will, with telling them, what is needed in the will, why it's needed, and I don't know, I think there probably is a course out there that I could put together to help clients do a bit of their own work to keep costs down, without but still having that safety net that it is a properly drafted will by a lawyer, not that they can go off and just write something then and think that they've done something right. So I don't know, is getting putting a course together, I think, and maybe doing expert talks with radios and maybe going into hospices and cases that, you know, would need that type of service.
Very good idea.
Yeah, I'm just going to throw out to Beth and to yourself, Lynn, had you ever thought of writing a program called Beginning with Your End in Mind? You know, it's a Michael Covey piece that he's written in the 7 Habits, beginning with the end in mind, and perhaps even taking it into schools, because teacher inset training is, you know, they have so many days a year to work with the teachers who work with the children. So something around that, really getting kids to think about, you know, beginning and what do they want the end to look like, so that the end in mind. And you could even make it an online, you know, course then for adults, really, where people can go through the thinking process of beginning with the end in mind. I can see a great collaboration there between you two guys as well, and Lisa helping you get it as an online course. Yeah,
love it.
why not think about it? Yeah, so we're going to come to you, Lorna. What have you learned? What will you put into practice? Lorna, what have you learned and what will you put into practice?
Everything froze then for a second. I could hear you. I couldn't respond. Do you know what? I think for me, because I'm an ideas person, I mean, as Sarah said, and I'm quite happy for giving other people ideas, but I have so many things going on in my head that I want to do. And what I really appreciate Cherie saying today is that things grow organically. And that's, you know, that I'm doing the right thing. You know, we're getting the brand, we've got the award that we wanted. Now we're getting the recognition, and now I can see how things just flow. You've got to put the time in, you've got to push it, but it's that affirmation, I guess, and I'm appreciative of that today. Thank you.
Lovely.
That's great.
Thank you, Lorna. And coming to our Wonder Woman of websites then, Lisa. So what have you learned today and how might you put it in practice?
I think for me, I think this year, I want to focus on bringing out more online courses for people. So I've got like 2 at the moment, but I want to do an online course about online courses. But I know, like you've said, that you've got lots of different income streams, like that can be something that can be working in the background while I do the other stuff and not running myself ragged all the time. So that is something I want to focus on this year, is focusing on getting more online courses out there so then they can be selling. But I always think, oh, I haven't got time to film them. But if I did, then I could have more time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm going to come to Karen, who's an amazing income stream provider and has got lots of strings to her bow. So what might you do differently, Karen, or just do more of?
I think just do more of, simply because when we were, you know, I mean, last few months have been horrendous, and we had neither of us working at any stage last 3 months, but we did have income. So having those passive income streams where you don't need to work, you can still have life going on, still pay the bills, was actually essential for us, and made things so much easier in the last few months. So for me, it's just about starting from scratch again, looking at what I need to build for the future, how I support my son with just my income now. But also thinking in terms of, you know, with Lynn, for example, there's a person that I've worked with who's North America, and she set up a book which takes people through preparing for the last bits, things like, you know, where are the house keys? Who's going to look after your cat when you go? You know, basics like that. Basically putting your wishes down about what you want to happen afterwards, doing that as a book, and then you can upsell within that. Use that as little bits of bonuses and bring the course in there as well. So you create a sales funnel around it. That's just me. I like books.
Wow. So So Lynn, you better speak to Karen, you better speak to Lisa, because I think there's a book in there, and I think there's an online learning piece in there that's going to make you some money. Yeah. So I think it's been fascinating this morning. It's really got me thinking, I want to have a multiple source. I'm thinking, oh, where am I going to go with this? I'm going to have to sit down, take myself to the park and write a whole list. Yes, really got me excited, super excited. Cherie, would you like to sort of give us some closing remarks based on our feedback?
Yeah. Thank you so much for, listening and taking in what I've been saying. Also, I'd like to offer any of the ladies here today, if you would like to write a blog on my website, be featured, talking about your services, getting out there. That's what we do. We have blog features of women running their businesses, or if they've got a story to tell. So if anyone's interested in writing a blog for the website, that'd be amazing. Just contact. I've left my details in the chat. Okay. So please keep in contact with me, connect with me on my social media, Facebook and LinkedIn, Instagram as well. Like I'm on, but yeah, I'm usually on all the social medias there. And also, if you're just starting up, download my Build Your Business on a Budget guide as well. That's free. It's just got some quick tips on what you can do to save money once you first started out. So that's it, ladies. Thank you so much.
Great, lovely. Thank you. And thank you very much for sharing your wisdom with us. Really appreciate it. And I'm sure we're going to bump into you in social media and perhaps even at events in the future. So
yeah,
thank you for sharing. As you know, next week we've got 2 weeks now of our Lisa the Wonder Woman helping us all get to grips with getting this online learning up and online and making us money. So same time, same place next week, 11 o'clock an hour, and we're going to be learning. Week 1 is like an overview of what's possible. And then week 2 is really getting down to actually doing it. So really excited about that. So can't wait. So thank you again, Cherie, and look forward to seeing you.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you everyone for popping online, and looking forward to seeing you next week. Cheerio, everyone. See you next week.
Bye. Bye. Bye.